Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for helping me reach 15,000 subs. As of recording this, we are over 15,300 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you guys. And I was thinking about what to do for this. I couldn't really think of anything because honestly, I feel bad. We only reached 14,000 not long ago, and I said we were going to start the For Honor Fashion Contest, and because my brother's been sick, I really haven't had time to look over the Warden pictures y'all sent, because y'all sent a lot. There are a ton to go through. So I'm still going to have to go through those, and I promise I will. But for the time being, what should I do for 15,000 subs? Well, I thought about it. Well, there's still a lot y'all don't know about me, and I thought, why not? Let's do 10 more things you never knew about Raven. I did a video previously when I reached, I think, 9,000, where I did 10 things you never knew about me. Let's do 10 more things. I think it'll be fun, and I thought about these. My brother helped me remember a few of these, so let's not waste any time and get right into them. Number 10. The first movie I ever saw was The Lion King, and I memorized it. Now, I should specify, I saw The Lion King when I was a toddler, when I was like really, really little. It had actually only recently come out in theaters, and so my parents took me to see it in theaters, and the first time I saw it, I fell asleep, because when you're that age, you know, you put you in a dark room, you're going to go take a nap. But the second time they took me to see it, I loved it. I fell in love with The Lion King and Disney in general, and guess what? I memorized the whole movie. I memorized every line of dialogue. It did not take long. I loved the movie. And this made my parents happy, of course, because they were thinking, oh, wow, if he can memorize a movie this well, imagine what he can do in school. Boy, were they disappointed when I couldn't memorize textbooks worth a dang. But whatever the case, I memorized the movie incredibly well. And my dad and I created a game where we called it I Know One. Basically, my dad has to come up with a line from the movie, pick any line, and I have to say the line that follows it. That means I have to know every single line and be prepared to respond. Never lost. I never lost that game because I memorized it like that. And I soon began memorizing other Disney movies like Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Sleeping Beauty, and The Little Mermaid. Even songs. I memorized songs very quickly. I was singing songs that I saw in Disney movies, including ones that I don't even know why I memorized them. I just really liked them, but I had a good rememberer, as my dad used to say, but I wish I could apply it to school. All right, that's number 10. Number 9, I was a puppeteer. Not a huge thing, but something that I thought was interesting. When me and my brother were younger, about middle school age, maybe early high school age, our church had a group called the Puppeteers, or the Pretty Feet Puppeteers. And every now and then, they would ask me and my brother and a few others if we would help with puppeteering and voicing the puppets, because we could throw our voices in different ways back then, and we had the arm strength to hold up our arms much longer. It was a small thing. It wasn't huge, and we don't really do it that much anymore, but we had a whole stage. There was a lot of puppets we used to do, and the kids loved the puppets. You know, I'm sure some of them knew that there was someone behind it, but you know, it's puppets. It's what they love, and doing the voices for some of them was a lot of fun. You know, there's something fulfilling about bringing laughter to a kid, you know, even if you know it's just a bunch of foam with your hand in it, still, it's a lot of fun. Number 8, I got dragged around the street by my dog. My brother actually had to remind me of this one. Okay, so I had to be maybe 10 years old, maybe 9, maybe younger. I don't remember exactly. Elementary school at least. Because when I was a baby, Mom and Dad already had a dog, a retriever named Boomer. And Boomer was a good dog, but you have a baby, you know. I was a baby. Mom and Dad couldn't take care of Boomer and me. So they got rid of Boomer, and we got another dog when I got older named Claus. Claus was a spaniel, but a big spaniel. And he loved to chase things. He was a very strong dog. And I loved to walk Claus. Well, one Sunday morning, I was wearing my Sunday clothes, and I asked Dad if I could walk the dog. He said yes, but he wanted to come with me. So we were walking the dog, and suddenly Claus saw something that he wanted to chase. And nothing's going to stop Claus when he wants to chase something. So he starts chasing it. Now, I'm an elementary school kid, and I'm not ready for this dog to suddenly book it. And suddenly, boom, I'm being dragged across the grass by this very energetic dog. My dad can't stop laughing. While he's chasing me, he's laughing, and I'm just being dragged by this dog. Oh, it was awful. It was so awful. And I was covered in grass stains on my Sunday clothes. I was more upset about the grass stains because I thought Mom was going to kill me. Dad said, it's okay. It happens. He had to round up Claus, though, and Claus is just going, what did I do wrong? Oh, what fun that was. I loved Claus. He was such a good dog. But unfortunately, Claus had a barking problem. He liked to bark because he just wanted people to notice him. And, of course, the neighbors complained about that. So he had to get rid of Claus, which led to us getting Lady, who was an awful dog, and then getting Dixie, who was the best dog we'd ever had. So now you know a bit more about that, and I will bring up Dixie again later. But for now, we're moving on to number 7. I have dated one girl from almost every Asian country. It's a weird piece of trivia about me, but it's true. So, first of all, I want to make it clear. I have dated girls from America. 3, I believe. One of them was more of just a one-night thing because it was a high school banquet and I needed a date, and she was a very nice girl. She agreed to go with me. We weren't officially boyfriend or girlfriend, but she was a great girl. I enjoyed her company, and I think she enjoyed mine. Had another one. She was certifiably insane. I learned that way too late in the game. And then the other cheated on me blatantly and wasn't even shy about it. Just kind of like, oh yeah, I've been seeing this other guy. I was like, how long have you been doing this? A while. But other than them, I've dated a bunch of girls, many of them from Asia. One from India. She was okay. One from Korea. She was awesome. I loved her. I actually brought her back with me to spend Thanksgiving break with my family because she couldn't go home to South Korea for Thanksgiving break. It was too short of a break for her to pay the airfare. So she came and lived with us for a while, and my family loved her. She was great. Dated a girl from China, and it was kind of dating because, I was tutoring her and teaching her how to drive and stuff, and she was, being very friendly with me. So it was a good trade. Dated a girl from Japan. She was awesome. I still keep in touch with her. She lives in Tokyo. Wonderful girl. Dated a girl from Thailand. She was a co-worker at the restaurant I worked at, and I gave her rides to work every now and then and rides home. Very nice girl, very friendly. I knew a girl from Russia. I don't know if you'd call it dating, though. We mostly only were drinking buddies. We went out and we drank, but there were usually other people around, so not really dating per se. But you know what? We'll count it for the sake of this. And I think that's it. So not all of them, not all of the Asian countries, but quite a few, and which led to a lot of jokes from my mom because she used to say, "Am I going to have Asian grandbabies?" Which isn't a problem for her, mind you. She made that clear, but she just thought it was funny that I always seem to be dating girls from Asia, and I found that interesting. It's not that I find them necessarily more attractive than anyone else, but it's just something that always happened because I gravitated very much to the Asian students in college because I was fascinated by their culture and by where they came from, and I wanted them to know that they had friends here that they could depend on. In fact, it's very funny how I met the girls from Japan and China. Very cool story. Me and my brother were at Walmart, and the bus that goes from the college to the Walmart comes every 45 minutes to an hour, and it was pouring down rain. Me and my brother came in my car, so we didn't have a problem, but we saw them just standing there with their bags of groceries waiting on the bus, and I asked my brother, "Hey, do you know when the bus comes next?" And he said, "Probably another 25 minutes. It's like, I hate for them to stand there in the rain for that long. And he said, "Well, they don't have a car, so it's what they got to do." So I said, "Nah, hold on." And then I asked, "Hey, would y'all like a ride back to your dorm? Y'all live on campus, right? We'll give you a ride back." I still don't know why they said yes, because they didn't know who we were, and they had no reason to trust us, but they did, and they said, "We'd love a ride." And so we took them to the car, and I said, "Where do y'all live?" And they told me, and we drove them back, and I told them, "Hey, if y'all ever have any problems with schooling or history or English or anything like that, let us know. I'll give you my number. You can contact me anytime." I gave them my number, and I didn't expect for them to ever contact me. I thought I was just being nice. But a couple weeks later, one of them did reach out, the one from China, and she said, "Hey, I'm really struggling with my American history stuff, and wanted to know if you could help me out." And I went, "Absolutely." And that is where it all started. So it's not that I just actively seek them out. It's just that kind of is what happened. And I'm sure that's God leading me in a direction, but that's neither here than there. I've spent too much time on this. Let's move on. Okay. Number 6. I ran cross country, but the football team wanted me more. When I was in high school, I loved running. Running was a great form of exercise for me, and it was easy because anyone could join the cross country or track team. You just had to be willing to run. And what's funny about that is I don't have a body for it. When you think of cross country runners, you think of these thin, lanky men and women who just spend all their time running and jogging. But I have a very broad frame. I'm very muscular, very broad, barrel-chested. I had a body built for football. And the football coach let me know so when I walked by him one day, and he went, do you run? Are you on my team? And I went, no. And he went, do you want to be? And I went, not especially. And he said, oh, come on, why not? And I said, it's football, and I know that a lot of the guys on the football team get hurt a lot. I don't really want to get hurt a lot. And he went, I guess that's fair, but hey, if you ever change your mind, let me know. You look like you could be pretty good. You look like you could be a running back or something like that. Maybe a wide receiver. And I went, that's very flattering, but I'm not sure if I want to do that. Now, the reason why that's ironic to me is shortly after I left high school, I started mixed martial arts, a sport that involves physical contact and combat. So I ditched out of football because I was afraid of getting hurt, only to go into a sport where I'm going to get hurt. Sometimes I look back on that and I kind of regret it. Like, I might have enjoyed football, but, c'est la vie. Hindsight's 2020. Moving on. Number 5. I scared my brother into a catfish pond and my dad threw me in after him. So, funny story. I mentioned Dixie, the best dog that we had. Oh, wonderful dog. Again, great dog. But we got her from a sort of farm area out in the countryside. And there was this big old catfish pond by the house where we got her. And me and my brother were checking out the catfish pond. This was while my dad was still buying the dog and everything. So my brother was standing on the dock talking to somebody. And I decided to be a jerk. I was like in middle school or something. I was such a jerk back then. And so I go, at my brother, and he leaps and falls into the pond. And I'm laughing. Oh, it was so funny. I scared my brother into the pond until suddenly I feel 2 hands grab me by the scruff of the neck and hurl me into that water after him. And Dad was standing on the dock saying, yeah, you learned your lesson, didn't you? Both of you out of the water. Dad taught me a very important lesson that day. Don't bully people because you might just get bullied right back. Still, it was worth it. Oh, it was so funny getting wet. I was a kid, that's what you did. But, I can mess with my brother. But other people don't get to mess with my brother. And that goes into number 4. I avenged my brother at the beach. Now, I could do a list of times that I've come to my brother's defense, either needed or not. But I'll never forget, my youth group has a thing that they go to every summer, called Beach Blast. And every Beach Blast, the middle schoolers go for the first week. And then after that week, the high schoolers come in and take over after that. Now, there are some high schoolers who like to go early and be Bible study leaders for the middle school groups. Now, I was a high schooler at the time, so I was there to be a Bible study leader. My brother was in middle school. Now, somehow, a couple of the guys in my brother's age group got hold of my brother's number, his phone number. And they took advantage of that by texting and calling him and sending a lot of very inappropriate things his way. My brother begged them to stop. They just feigned ignorance and went, I don't know what you're talking about, only to do it again and again and again. He went to the youth group leader. He couldn't do anything about it because they kept doing it and doing it. And by the end of the second day of the week, he was calling my dad to come get him. Yeah, Dad had to drive all the way down from our home to come pick up my brother because he was being bullied so much. I was livid. Like, there are no words to describe how furious I was. It was bad enough that my brother got bullied, but bullied so much by these guys that he actually wanted to go home. He loves the beach. My brother and I love the beach. We loved Beach Blast. And he was going to miss out on all of it because he couldn't get these guys to stop. So I made their lives hell. When they were like, man, we didn't mean to make him go home. We didn't mean to bully him that much. I said, no, but you did. And so now you're going to get it. Oh, I pranked them. I harassed them. I made their week hell. And they learned they didn't mess with my brother again. They learned their lesson. You don't mess with my kid brother, okay? You don't do that, especially not at that age. Because, look, if my brother's in tears, you're going to be in stitches. That's just how it goes down. But enough about that. I may do another story about when I backed up my brother, but that's for another time. Number 3. When the dad is away, I am the snake judge and sometimes executioner. Little context here. My mom has an irrational fear of snakes. It doesn't matter if it is venomous or not. If that thing slithers, she wants it dead. My dad had a more practical approach. He said, if you see a snake, keep your eye on it, but let me know by calling me or sending your brother to come get me, and I will deal with it. But if dad is not around, I am the official snake handler. That means I come out, I deem whether it must die or not, and then I handle it accordingly. There was one day in particular, I remember this, it was very interesting. Me and my brother were part of a kids vacation thing called a Vacation Bible School, which means that we had to get up at a certain time each day and head over to the church and take care of a bunch of kids because we were group leaders. We loved doing it, but it also meant that we had to wake up pretty early and stay pretty late, so it wore us out. Now, Dad had to go to work, and Mom, well, she had things to do at the church as well, so she had to leave extra early. One morning, my brother goes outside, and he sees a squirrel trying to get into the bird feeder. And Dad says, if a squirrel gets into our bird feeder, you grab that pellet gun and you make it regret getting into our yard. So my brother grabs a pellet gun, and he takes a shot off at the squirrel. He hits it, so he runs over to go check. And right next to the squirrel was a copperhead snake, venomous snake. For those of you who don't live in the United States, it's one of the few venomous snakes we have. So my brother is like, wait, what? So he calls Dad and says, Dad, there's a copperhead right next to the squirrel that I shot. And Dad says, okay, go get your brother and have him deal with it. So I'm sleeping. So all of a sudden I wake up to my brother shaking me awake, and I said, what? And he said, there's a copperhead. And I just stick my head up. What? There's a copperhead. I shot a squirrel, and there's a copperhead next to the squirrel. And I went, okay, go outside, keep eyes on it. I'll be right out. So he goes outside. I get up. I put on my clothes. I'm half asleep. I grab a shovel and I walk outside. And I said, where is it? And he's just pointing at the ground where it is. And I walk over. Sure enough, there is a copperhead. So I grab it with the shovel, yank it out into the grass, and then guillotine its head off. Just bring the shovel tooth down on top of it. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's so mean. Why would you kill a snake? I didn't kill every snake. There was another instance where the little girls who live next door to our house, who they have their own pool and everything, they love to do little pool parties over there. One day, suddenly they knock on our door. Mom answers the door, says, hi, how can we help you? Is Raven here? Well, yeah, but what do you need him for? There's a venomous snake by our pool, and we don't know what to do. So I grab the shovel and I head over to their pool to see what's going on. And there was a snake, but it was only a couple inches long, and it was a baby, and it wasn't even venomous. It was a little water snake. So I just said, oh, get over yourself. So I pick up that snake. They go, is it poisonous? And I went, nope. And so I just walk it over to the forest, and I put it by the river, and I said, get out of here. So I don't kill every snake. I'm the snake judge. But if it's a venomous snake, I do have to deal with it, because Mom don't like snakes in general, and Dad don't like venomous snakes in the yard, because they could get under the house, they could bite the dog, they could do a lot of things painful. So not even risk it, right? Okay, but speaking of my dad, let's move on to number 2. My dad sneezed, and the fire department came to fix my head. Whoo! Put that one on a shirt. All right, let me explain. I love doing impressions, and I get it from my dad because my dad likes to do impressions. And one of his best impressions is he's one of the few men I know who can do a really good Donald Duck impression. You know, the very nasally Donald Duck kind of voice from Mickey Mouse. And he would sneeze. He would do the Donald Duck sneeze. And it would make me and my brother laugh and laugh. In fact, when we were little kids, we would all gather on the bed, and he would just do his impressions and make me and my brother howl with laughter. One day, I was in maybe kindergarten or first grade. He's doing his Donald Duck impression, and he sneezes at me. You know, the Donald Duck sneeze. And I laugh so hard, I throw my head back, and I crack the back of my head against the headboard of the bed. I black out. Blood is going everywhere. I hit the bed screaming, clutching my head. Mom is panicking. My brother doesn't know what to do. Dad is trying to help me stem the bleeding. I don't know what's going on. They have to call the fire department. They call the police. They call an ambulance. They do whatever they can do because I can't see. I'm howling in pain. Blood is just going everywhere on the bed. I'm thinking I'm going to die because I can't see nothing. I'm telling, don't turn off the lights. The lights aren't off, but I can't see anything. Well, yeah, you did black out. So it's a big panic. Finally, the fire department shows up. About this time, I'm starting to get my vision back, and they're looking over my head. The police are checking everything out. The doctors are looking, and they go, "You're fine. Don't even need stitches. You just put a pretty good gash in the back of your head, but it doesn't need stitches. It's just probably going to bleed for a while." So I was like, "You sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're sure. You're fine." And so I very reluctantly stayed at home with my family, and I put my head down on the pillow to sleep. I woke up the next day. There were blood stains all over the pillows. I was bleeding all night. I'm surprised I was okay, but I was a little lightheaded, grant you. But then I go to school, and when I go to school, a neighbor who saw the fire trucks and everything said, "What happened?" And I had to explain, "My dad sneezed and it blew me backward and I hit my head on the back of the bed." Oh, my teacher must have thought I was insane. That was so stupid. But how else do I explain that when I'm a little kid, and I don't know how else to rationalize that? Because I'm sure the teacher asked my parents, "What does he mean by that? His dad sneezed?" And I was so dumb. But hey, kids do dumb things, so I can be excused for that. But some dumb things do happen that aren't as silly, which leads to my number one thing. I was jumped and mugged when I was in college. Okay, so serious talk here. Before I went to Coastal Carolina University, where I was graduated, I went to another college called Anderson University. Now, the problem with Anderson is it's a small college, but it's also right next to the ghetto area, right next to a very dangerous area where drug deals go down. You hear gunshots every few nights. It's a pretty dangerous spot. You try to be careful, and you try not to stay out too late because of that reason. Well, one night I'm out way too late, and I'm walking home, and this guy is walking down the sidewalk towards me. And suddenly, as he gets close, he pulls a knife out of his pocket, and he points it at me, and he says, "Give me your wallet right now." And I'm scared. I'm shaking because he's holding a knife at me. And so I said, okay. So I reach in the back of my pocket, and I pull out my wallet, and I hold it out to him, and I drop it on the ground. He keeps his knife on me, and he kneels down to pick it up. And I don't know what possessed me at that moment, but I just knew I couldn't let this guy get away with it. So while he's leaning down to pick up the wallet, I swing my foot up and kick him as hard as I can in the chin, and then tackle him, knocking the knife out of his hand, and we are down and dirty on the sidewalk fighting for supremacy. Just, I'm hitting him with all I've got. He's hitting me with all he's got. We are just struggling. I get him once or twice with a good elbow, knee him once. He hits me a few times. I know he got me real good in the cheek because it swole up pretty good after that. But after we're done scuffling, he finally gets free of me, and he books it. He runs like a madman. And I'm just laying there shaking because I'm going, I could have died. And, some people ask me when they hear the story, do you regret doing that? Because my female friends, when they heard about it, said I was crazy for doing that. That was so reckless. My male friends think I'm a hero for doing that. Me personally, I think it was cool that I did it, and I think it was the right thing to do to protect myself and to defend my money because, you shouldn't let people just walk all over you. But at the same time, I wouldn't recommend doing that because you may not be as lucky as I was. I recognize that I was more lucky than skilled. I had no getaway plan as soon as I tackled him. If I just kicked him, grabbed the wallet, and run, that would have been one thing. But I didn't. I decided to fight. And I can't say today whether or not that was the best call. I think it was not a bad call. I don't think it was a wrong call, but it was not a safe call. And I wouldn't recommend that to people who have not trained, who have not been in fights. But in any case, those are some more things about me that you probably never knew. Now, some of you might have known them, and if you do, you either know me really well or I'm not good at keeping secrets. But anyway, hey, who knows? Maybe when we reach 16,000, I'll do a top 10 things you never knew about Lark, or maybe more things you never knew about me, because there's more. But who knows? Who knows? We'll get to all that when we get to it. But for now, let's just aim for that 16,000 mark, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.